Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Bad Moon's Orbit. I am, as always, your dispassionate soul, Dalton Montgomery.
And I'm your ghost type specialist, Darian Smart.
Ooh, what ghost type would be your ace?
Mimikyu.
Ah, yes, excellent.
I don't even know if Mimikyu would be a good ace. I think so. My brother was saying how Mimikyu is in his top 5 now, and then he started citing different battle stuff that Mimikyu is great at, and I was like, that's not how I do Pokemon. I don't care.
Hell yeah.
That's great, and I'm very happy for you. I say specialist, I would not be a gym leader. Let's be so for real here. I would just have Pokemon because they're great.
You have to be a gym leader to be a specialist. You could be a hex maniac. This is the ghost type, one of the ghost type trainer classes.
I just ghost type. Oh, originally here's cards on the table. I was gonna say fairy type specialist originally, and then you said sad, dispassionate soul, and then I was like, well, I can mirror that.
match the vibe.
Match the vibe.
Most fairy type specialists are some kind of artist, which is cool.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Does podcasting count?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But welcome everybody to this episode of the Bad Moon's Orbit. This is going to be a kind of a weird one. This one and the next one are going to be kind of weird ones. Might be a little bit shorter than normal, but we are preparing for Boise Cup over here. Yeah, very excited. Have people coming in. It's going to be a good time. But it means a little bit shorter on time, a little bit shorter on brain wavelengths. So we're getting a couple of... I figured what better way to celebrate that coming on than to do a special episode about something a little bit more rules associated, which is this episode and the next episode. We're going to be talking about the lore of the new General's Handbook, the Scourge of Aqshy.
Ooh.
So anyone who listens to our podcast and doesn't have any conceptualization of the rules of Warhammer, just a little bit of a primer on what that means. Every year, Age of Sigmar does what's called a General's Handbook. It is a set of seasonal rules that change how you play the game. So at a very baseline, that's new missions to do and stuff, whereas you might have been playing the last year on there's 4 equidistant objectives down the middle of the board, so you fight over those, and there's special rules for that. And now it's there's 3 clustered over here and 2 clustered over here, just stuff on that level, but also rules meant to evoke a certain kind of story, right? Move the setting forward in a narrative sense through how the rules communicate it, and that's kind of our thing here.
I was gonna say, it gives us more to talk about.
Exactly. And so I thought it'd be neat to talk about, it's more rules game focused than we normally delve into, but I thought it would be interesting to talk about the parts that are narratively interesting.
Yeah.
Specifically, along with the new General's Handbook, we get something called the Scourge of Aqshy, which is each faction gets specific rules just for it that represent the battle shifting in this way. So it's units that might be acting differently because of how they're being pressed into service, or artifacts they only have access to because they're in this part of the world, things of that nature. So that's what these 2 episodes are going to be, is we're going to be going through each of the factions, talking about what parts of their seasonal rules are interesting from a narrative perspective. So the big disclaimer on that, and I'll say this at the start of the next episode as well, is that not all of them are interesting, right? Sometimes when you're writing seasonal rules for 26 factions, sometimes they're just holding this rock makes a guy angry. Here's your rules.
Okay.
So I've gone through all of them. I've picked out the ones that I think have something interesting narratively to them. That's going to bias towards and against some factions. Sorry, Fire Slayers. But this episode, we're going to be talking about Order and Death, because that's one with a bunch of factions and one with not many factions.
Nice.
And that's the next episode. We're going to be talking about Chaos and Destruction, because same thing. Just splitting them up.
Makes sense.
So we don't overload the first episode and then not have much to talk about in the second episode. But before we get into all of that, Darian, do you have a game thing you'd like to share this week?
I do. It only took me 10 years, but I finally completed the Kanto Pokedex in Pokemon Go!
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
I finally caught all 151, the last one being Mewtwo.
Hell yeah.
Here in the past week, they did a special research that at the end would just let you catch a Mewtwo.
Nice.
Before that, I think the only way to have done it was being part of raid battles, which is all well and good, and I am not here for it. that is not a thing I enjoy. I don't like the battle part of the Pokemon games, which
totally
means
fair.
I don't really play Pokemon games, despite liking Pokemon very much.
Yeah.
But I have played Pokemon Go diligently for literally 10 years.
Hell yeah.
But it's fun. Whenever I mention it, people always respond with, "Oh, people are out there still playing Pokemon Go?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. They literally like did a massive event at Times Square for the 10th anniversary." So like I get it. It's never going to be that thing it was in the pop culture zeitgeist of 2016, which is like good, but it's still a fun thing to play. It still gets updates and new things, and I get to take the little dog on a walk and hatch an egg and catch some mons and hunt for shinies.
Yeah.
And it feels good to have motivation to go outside, and like I walked around for an hour completing all that research to get Mewtwo.
Hell yeah.
Pokemon Go. It's still fun.
Go. Yeah. My thing this week is it's a card game thing.
Ooh.
But I thought it was fun. Darian and I spent just like an afternoon. Yeah. Going through. So I play Magic the Gathering.
I do not.
Yes, I've missed the Doctor Who set when it came out. And I have not watched Doctor Who, but Darian has.
And once upon a time, I was the biggest and most annoying Whovian you ever met.
That's a hard title.
Listen, and I was. At least the one, I'm not saying in the world, but the one you ever met.
And yeah, so I was just looking through cards partially of my own volition, like, oh, I missed this, I wonder what's going on. And I started talking like characters that I'm seeing to Darian, kind of asking what their vibe was, and we just kind of spent a fun afternoon going through like, tell me more about this Rory Williams. His ability,
the Last Centurion, Rory Williams, and then I'll be like, yeah, his card says the Last Centurion on it. And I'm like, as it fucking should. Let me tell you about Amy Pond, the girl who waited. Let me tell you about Martha Jones. So she walked the entire earth. It says the woman who walked the earth. I'm like, as it fucking should. And also, it was like my brain just suddenly like going through files and finding bits of old, like classic Who, a thing that I never watched, but also read so much about just to be more informed, and just characters that I knew from reputation alone. And I would say, oh yeah, this is such and such, and their last line was like, I'll never know if I was right because they were such a know-it-all and they kind of sacrificed themselves to do this big plan and save the day at the end. And Dalton's like, oh yeah, his big move is called the Great Sacrifice. It was really fun. It was a very fun activity for the afternoon that just made me realize, wow, I wonder all the cool things I could learn if my brain would get rid of all this information I don't need anymore.
Listen, we're in the same boat.
What do I need to know about Ramona? 1 and 2?
Anyways, welcome to our Ages 4 Lore podcast. Yeah, or all the things in my brain.
Yes, exactly. We'll just do a podcast about it.
Exactly. There we go. We could do a Doctor Who podcast.
I would like to not do a Doctor Who podcast.
That's fair. I was like, invert it where I'm watching it for the first time, but
you can't go back.
Dark place. No, yeah.
No, it was fun. And I enjoyed Doctor Who. I didn't even stop watching it because I got tired of it. I stopped watching it because they made it less accessible to watch.
Media preservation is one of the great fights of our time. Well,
we can't get into this again. That was the whole conversation with a friend last night. Let's talk about armies.
Yeah. Scourge of Aqshy on its face is just, so like this season, the implication of the narrative is that the bulk of the fighting has moved back to Aqshy, specifically the Great Parch, which is the vast plain near the center of Aqshy. It's where like Hammerhal Aksha is located. It's where a bunch of our like big successful reclamation efforts have happened via Sigmar. And along the like western part of the Great Parch, there is a string of mountains called the Adamantine Chain. They're huge. A bunch of stuff exists there and has a long-standing history there. That's where the Forge Anathema is. One of the big Hellsmith Chaos Dwarf like holds is on the Adamantine Chain, as well as like a bunch of very important Fire Slayer holds. And it has always been seen as a like the Adamantine Chain is both a like bulwark against the things beyond, and also one of the big like challenges to push past, right? If we're going to do this reclamation effort, finding a way to get supply lines across the chain and like establish cities on the chain and stuff like that. So when the Vermin Doom happened and Skaven crashed Blight City into the material world, into Aqshy, the implication is because a third of the Great Parch is now Blight City, right? They just crashed it into it. And it's all of the Great Parch on the western side of the adamantine chain.
Oh, okay.
So there's almost an implication that like they crashed it, and it was the fact that there's this like big mountain range here that stopped it from going further, right? It caught like a rivet, right?
Yeah.
And that stopped it from progressing further, but it makes that dividing line even more stark now, right? Where like past the adamantine chain is just blasted chaos waste, right?
Oof, yeah.
Skaven are on the front door of some of our biggest like victories in the setting. And so the fighting shifting back to the adamantine chain represents both the forces of chaos trying to seize an opportunity here, Skaven just being there, but like Archaon and his forces being aware that this is a good opportunity for them to try and press their advantage, the Hellsmiths seeing opportunity to expand, and everyone who has a vested interest in like chaos not spreading further, also coming to that like defense. So the forces of order, but also like Nagash has his interests in not letting stuff get overrun with chaos, and destruction generally just likes a fight. So they're also just here. Yeah. That is what this is to represent. We're just going to go faction by faction. Like I said, it's going to be kind of a weird one because we're going to be jumping like major groups, but we're going to start with the Daughters of Cain.
Hey!
Yeah.
It's been a hot second since we hung out with them.
Yeah. Daughters of Cain have two I wanted to highlight. They are Tenebrous Aura. Tenebrous means like shadowy, like hard to, insubstantial, hard to like understand, basically. This is a trait that you can give to one of your units, and basically it is a thing. It's like a ritual that the Daughters of Cain are doing to this person to make it so that you are like such a like moving mass of like shadows and shapes that it's not that you are hard to see, it's that it like tickles some part of a person's brain where they have to like stare at you. It's that like, if I just look a little bit longer, maybe I'll be able to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
But as like a supernatural compulsion.
Ooh, okay.
So it distracts people who are like in combat with them, basically.
Oh, that's really cool.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very shadow themed for Daughters of Cain for this one. The other thing that we haven't talked much about them, but there is a cast of the priesthood called Shadow Stalkers.
Ooh.
These are all of like the Daughters of Cain are spies by their nature, but Shadow Stalkers are the more explicit like part of being a good spy is being able to blend in, being able to be like a normal person. Shadow Stalkers are more like, I'm going to use magic to teleport into that building. Like I'm going to wear a big flowing cloak and be more of a like spy. Yeah. Like assassin. Normal Shadow Stalkers use their like shadow magic to move around the battlefield. Last season, the Scourge of Gyran was a similar thing where the fighting moved to Gyran, and the acronym for Scourge of Gyran is SOG. And so people started using Soggy to describe like the difference between like, you got normal brutes and then you've got soggy brutes. And so for Aqshy, because it's the hot plane, people have been using spicy. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. And so instead of normal Shadow Stalkers, spicy Shadow Stalkers, like I said, Aqshy is passion, it's directness, it is anger a lot of the time, but just like a lot of, it's more direct, more forward. And so when you're making your army, you can choose to bring normal Shadow Stalkers who are like, ooh, we're shadows, teleport, ooh, flit around the battlefield. But spicy Shadow Stalkers can pick an enemy, and instead of like moving through the shadows towards them, have them fall through the shadows to the Shadow Stalkers.
Oh my god, that's very good.
Right. So it's an inversion of the like, oh, we're sneaking, we're doing the thing, to like, oh no, you're coming to us. We're gonna pull you out of formation by.
I love a spooky shadow bullshit.
Right.
I love spooky shadow nonsense. I love shadow magic.
They're very good. But yeah, that's Doc. That's gonna be the kind of content of each of the factions we talk about. We got 26 of them to get through, 13 for this video.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's just it's an interesting take on how a faction might change their tactics, change their like ideas on how to fight based on where they are and what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a full-blown like inhospitable battleground on the adamantine chain right now. So like the value of like sneaking into a place and doing a thing is just lesser. right? Like, it's not so much Doc doing spy stuff, it's them showing up to do big scale battles.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Lumineth. I alluded to it with my intro, but a thing that you can give to one of your Lumineth is dispassionate soul.
Oh, God.
So this is a person who doesn't care about what is happening so hard that it makes those around them not care either.
Oh, no.
There is
It's contagious depression.
Yeah. One of the things with this season is that both armies have to track the level of like fury that their army is experiencing, because they're fighting on Aqshy. That's just going to seep into. And one of the things that I think is interesting about the rules is that some factions have leaned into that, and they have ways to more effectively build fury and then use that fury in like a beneficial way. And others have leaned away from it. They have ways to either keep their fury down or keep their opponent's fury down in such a way that it like, yeah, they're not giving into it in the same way, and that does good storytelling stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what Dispassionate Soul affects, is I believe it makes it so it's harder for your opponent to build fury, is the idea. I didn't write the rules down. I just read the lore down.
Okay.
But yeah. This person just so checked out that the fact that it makes other people around them also just like not able to like work up to like rage is interesting. And then the other Lumineth one I want to talk about are, we talked about Alarith Stone Mages in our main Lumineth episode, right? Those are the people who commune with the mountains and like talk to them. This is a really interesting case of, this is a interpretation of Stone Mages that existed prior to this event, but they are now more centralized in the narrative because what is happening. A lot of Stone Mages travel outside of Hysh already to commune with other mountains, and so as the fighting has re-intensified along the Adamantine Chain, the Stone Mages of the mountains of the Adamantine Chain, who previously like were just here on their own accord doing their own like stuff, are kind of compelled to rise to the defense of the chain, right? Yeah. We've like brought the war to the mountain, right?
So we need to defend the mountain.
Yes. Yeah. Which I think is really neat.
Yeah, that really tracks with the Lumineth's whole deal these days.
Yeah. The implication that we haven't seen this version of Stone Mages because they were doing their own thing. Yeah. It's because the fight is now on their front door that we're seeing them engaged in the narrative, like, which is cool. Stormcast is where we're going to go next.
Let's go.
I really like, so another thing that's happening with mechanics is in normal Age of Sigmar, right? When you're building your army, you have your heroes and your foot troops, and they're like separate, different kinds of units. And when you're building your army, you generally get to pick what's called a heroic trait. That's something about like one of your heroes that is noteworthy. An example in Gits is Fight Another Day, which is just like, ooh, this goblin is especially good at sneaking out the back, right? So if he gets trapped in combat, he can just like leave. Like, nice. And that's fun. And then an artifact that you're allowed to put on whoever you'd like, right? Which is just something they pulled out of the stock, Backstabber's Blade. It's just a really good knife that once per battle lets you like get a guy, just completely bypass their armor.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And so that's traditionally been, that's on the level of stuff like Dispassionate Soul and whatnot, where you're giving it to a hero, like a notable individual. Something that I really like they're doing in Scourge of Aqshy is they are making, those are called enhancements. They're making enhancements that you can put on your like foot troops and stuff. It's not a representation of like this one dude is particularly cool. It's like this squad has been through this experience or are made in this way or like this has affected them. So this first we're going to see of that is in Stormcast. First, they do have an artifact that I thought was really neat. The Blade of the Six Smiths.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the Six Smiths are the dwarven apprentices of Grungni. They operate the anvil. So they're in charge of bringing like reforging Stormcast after they die. And so the fact that they got together to make a weapon, it is notably terrifying. Like it just makes the person wielding it extremely dangerous, which is cool. It's a fun like idea of, and it also represents it because the Six Smiths are sworn to maintain and operate the anvil, right? And so if they are going out of their way to make a weapon, like what does that imply for like how bad the fighting has gotten?
Yeah.
Right? It leans into our idea with the Ruination Chamber as well, like bringing back our like close to the storm people to fight. It's like, ooh, we're all having to compromise our ideals to make the fight work at this point.
Things are going that bad.
Yeah. Speaking of Ruination Chamber.
Speaking of Ruination Chamber.
This is not Ruination specific, but it's so interesting because it is finally, we're seeing a very present example of a thing that we know happens to Stormcast. One of those like non-hero enhancements you can give to just like a squad of people are Scars of War. And so there's 3 of them. One of them's not very interesting. So I'm just going to talk about 2 of them because one of them is like a literal Scar of War. It is some kind of damage that has happened from multiple reforgings that is like noteworthy enough to get its own rule. And the other one is like psychological. It is an experience that this like squad shared together. And so they're shaped by that in such a way. So Uncaged Lightning is first, Scar of War where they are not, you can do it to Ruination, but it implies a Stormcast like on the verge of Ruination. Like they're already starting to come apart. There's just not enough of them to like put back together.
Yeah.
And so a whole squad of people in that like position where even while they're still alive, their bodies like arc their lightning because it is trying to like go back to Azir. Like it creates this like fascinating implication that I don't know if we've explored much before, that like the physical body of a Stormcast is the thing anchoring them to the world, that their like soul will shoot back to Azir as soon as it's released. It's like a spring load. And so they're already damaged enough that just in the midst of the fighting, their soul is like arcing out to like zap at people around them, right?
Wait, that's really cool. That's like devastating and tragic, but hey, that's visually very cool.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And then the more psychological one I think is really interesting is Veterans of Emberstone Watch.
Ooh.
So Emberstone Watch was basically settled right before the Vermin Doom happened.
Damn, the timing.
And it is on the Adamantine chain.
Damn, the location.
Yep. And so this newly formed city, like they basically got there, they set up camp, they were like, hooray, we did it. And now they are on the front door of hell. Like, and so Emberstone Watch is known amongst cities and amongst Stormcast as just like a devastating assignment because it's like, we can't lose Emberstone Watch. We have to, like, we've worked so hard and we sacrificed so much to establish this post, and it's super important defensively. Like if Emberstone Watch falls now, like it's just a free like passage into the Aqshy heartland. Like, so we have to, but it's just a devastating place to be assigned. So for Stormcast to be Veterans of Emberstone Watch, like a company that's a veteran of Emberstone Watch, gives them a certain like resigned, like they are the veterans of the veterans. They've seen like hell and back, and it makes them very elite in both a narrative and like gameplay sense, which is interesting. And I just think that's neat. We need more stuff like that. And it just like, I think being able to elect like, ooh, this is the company that did thing, right? Like I think that's very interesting. But speaking of which, that's what we have for Stormcast. Let's talk Cities of Sigmar.
Cities of Sigmar.
Who do a similar thing. I also like these the most when they are like representative of a thing that exists in lore. And Cities of Sigmar is the perfect example of that. Cities non-hero enhancements that you just like give to a squad are called Decorations of Valor. And they are explicitly medals.
Oh,
these are medals that this company has earned for doing a thing, and that influences like how they operate on the table, right? Which is excellent, perfect, no notes. Like,
do they have the specific medals that they can have it?
Yes. The first is the Twin-tailed Comet of Honor. That is our Medal of Honor equivalent, above and beyond the Call of Duty. It just makes them more capable in like everything that they're doing, basically, because they've demonstrated incredible valor, incredible like capability, right? Yeah. The Living City Cross denotes special actions in Ghyran. So these are people who have adapted well to Ghyran's like natural environment, it's weird landscapes and stuff, and it managed to operate anyways. In game, it makes them like sneaky and like good pathfinders and stuff. They can kind of like zip around the board a little bit because they're used to navigating the hostile landscapes of Ghyran.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. Action, and the last one is the Aqshian Order of Merit. So this is specifically for those who are experienced, keeping themselves and their allies on task despite the emphasizing effect that Aqshy has on people.
Oh, that fury.
Yeah. This is recognizing that like the nature of Aqshy is for military engagements to turn into like bloodbaths, basically, where everyone just loses it and starts going at each other. And if you are able to clamp down on that and like keep to the task and accomplish your objective despite that, that is the kind of thing that earns you an Aqshian Order of Merit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. That deserves to be recognized.
Right,
I agree.
Right. And that one, in-game interacts with the Fury effects and some. I also didn't read a lot of these like super closely past the lore stuff. Sorry for people who play these armies. I might get some of the rules stuff wrong, but we're not a rules podcast.
Not a rules podcast.
Yeah, but I know it interacts with the new Action Fury mechanics in some way. But yeah, like to me, that's exactly the kind of thing I want to see narratively from seasonal rules like this, where we are expanding the world in such a way. Like now when you talk about like, oh, what does it mean to serve in the cities of Sigmar and stuff? It's like, well, these are some of the things that could be on the table.
Yeah.
Like being awarded for your valor or for being able to like navigate dense terrain and stuff. Like a Pathfinder's award, the fact that that is like an established thing that gets awarded often enough that we have a specific name and idea about it says something about the people, like the cities who operate in Ghyran.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
The value that we put on that. Like the U.S. didn't have any military awards except for the Medal of Honor until like World War II.
Like a lot of stuff happened.
Yep.
Maybe you need to recognize it.
Yep.
I'd also suggest that like the skills developed in Ghyran are so valuable for this like activity now, the campaigns that they're dealing with now, that they would relocate somebody.
Yes. Yeah. It's noteworthy that because like a lot of combat in Aqshy happens on the Great Parch, right? Like, and so you get broad, wide open plains. It may be the like forest warfare and stuff like that, but it's a very classical kind of open field engagement. And so, bringing in experienced Pathfinders who can work with very dangerous, very difficult to manage terrain for navigating the mountains of the Adamantine Chain, speaks to that. Absolutely. That's cities. We're
Okay, hey, I'm still hung up on the contagious depression thing. Mechanically, is there a drawback to that? I know you didn't read the mechanics. Look it up.
I'm so
you're
sorry. Fine. I also want to know. So
it sounds super useful to be like, make sure this figure or this, and then the around them, they're not going to get like overwhelmed by like the fires and the impulse of Aqshy that could send you off task. But it also feels like there would be like some sort of negative side effect to that level of apathy being imposed on someone. I know this is forever ago. I thought I could let it go, and I like my brain is like still thinking.
That's what we're doing here. Yeah.
I was like, wait, we need to go back like 2.
The narrative text is so impassive is this elf that they can pacify others with their mere presence. If this unit is in combat with an enemy hero, reduce the opponent's fury level by X, where X is the number of unique runes depicted on your battle scripture. So depicting runes on your battle scripture is a Lumineth thing. They do it at the start of each battle round where they decide like what rune is in ascension for this turn. Basically, they have a water, wind, earth, or aether. Right?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot I was mad about that.
Yeah.
I'm still mad about that.
And so what we get, the implication from the rules is that they can reduce the opponent's fury through their like command structure because they have to be near another hero to do it to them, but only the more focused that they are, because that's kind of what the runes are meant to represent, is the building like crescendo of like Lumineth, like tactical focus, right? And so it doesn't seem like there's a downside specifically for this elf.
So maybe my interpretation of depression is incorrect. It is more just being so unflappable.
I think it's meant to be more of like a meditative thing. It's dispassionate, like disconnected from the world. We're leaning into the very like spiritual kind of thing of the
most like very mindful, not letting your thoughts run away with you.
Yes. Or even like a Avatar thing when Aang's told he can only save the world if he lets go of his like earthly connections, right? Like,
We all agree that was bad advice and not useful,
correct.
right? Like, that was wrong, right? Yeah,
absolutely. But it represents that same idea, that same mindset of like, don't care about anything, and that makes you easier to like do the thing you're doing, which I don't agree with, but you can see where the narrative through line is.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Let's talk about Caradron. So we haven't done our full episode on Caradron yet. A lot of the nuance is going to get lost because we haven't had our Caradron episode yet. But the big one that, again, is like it's a representative of a real thing in the world. All Caradron are governed by the Caradron Code. It is a singular document. It is utterly massive. It's hundreds of volumes long.
Good God.
And it is a complete legal system for the Caradron specifically. They don't care if other people follow it, but you can't break it as a Caradron.
All right, that's reasonable. Well, to a point.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and this is part of why I really like Caradron. I'm very excited to do the Caradron episode. It's probably going to be next or after Ogres, because Ogres are coming out soon, and I'm excited about Ogres. The trick to that is that with any huge, complex legal like system of values, interpretation is the heart of it. Yes.
Oh, goodness.
And so this is one of my favorite things about the Caradron range broadly. There is a like physical, he has a model like unit that you can field in a Caradron army that is the code right.
Oh,
like
damn.
You have brought your war lawyer to the battlefield.
The war lawyer!
So that if need be, he could quickly skim through the volumes and be like, no, that's allowed. I've got the reference here. Yeah. Or
literally rules lawyer.
Yeah. No. Like absolutely. I've seen so many versions of him that because he has a bunch of books in his like mechanical like apparatus that he can reference and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people paint them like the rule books for Age of Sigmar.
Oh, that's
and like
very
that's very
good.
fun.
No, that's because I love that.
And so like the Caradron talk about the code as if it's this like all-encompassing thing that like helps them live their life. But even within the same like clan, even like different companies of Caradron will have vastly different interpretations of the code.
There's probably maybe also some degree of precedent. It was interpreted this way.
Yes.
70 years ago, and so we are still going to interpret it that way, and that'll influence the way we interpret something else. And another group might be like, no. That's not how that is interpreted. What are you talking about?
And it creates this whole split of like, because like even though there's a huge chunk of like almost every different Caradron company will work under the code in like a very different way because of their own interpretations and stuff, but it's still possible to like violate the code so badly that you become like an outcast within Caradron society, and they're their own like caste of people where it's like hypothetically they're looked down upon for being code breakers, but also because they're code breakers they make it pretty good as mercenaries, where other Caradron companies will hire them to do things that the code prohibits. Like
there's always a loophole. Well, like, I didn't do that wasn't me, so it doesn't apply.
The code breakers did that of their own volition. And so for the Aqshy stuff, what I like about their like unique thing is their enhancement they can give to non-heroes is article references. So this like band of Thunderers or Caradron Company or whatever are going into battle with basically like a legal document that supports their interpretation of this section of the code, so that they can do what they want.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And so we just get them by their article names, which is super funny.
I like that.
So Article 15.4, all Dwarden should be well-versed in multiple combat techniques that can be employed against airborne and ground-based enemies.
Excellent. Okay,
That one like gives you a bonus for shooting like flying enemies if you aren't flying, and ground enemies if you are flying.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. We have Article 20, Amendment 2. Flare guns may be used in extreme circumstances to disorient marauders and others with sinister motives. So Amendment 2 implies that twice they've had to amend the idea that you shouldn't shoot your flare gun at somebody.
Oh, no.
Right? Because that's what that means. It's like a once per game you can shoot your flare gun at the enemy to like distract them or something, which is not what a flare gun is for. Like if you're using it in combat, then you're not getting rescued later.
Yeah.
But just the storytelling of that, they've had to amend that twice is very funny. And you can even like Okay, this is Dalton's background in working with the law.
I was actually going to say, like, now, are you as an individual who has worked with real world law find this especially appealing to recognize
I think it's
the
so
detail?
funny. I think it's so funny, and I can almost pick out the like I imagine the First Amendment was like the original code was like, don't shoot your flare gun at somebody, and then the First Amendment was like, flare guns can be used in extreme circumstances to disorient marauders. And then like the Second Amendment was like, okay, flare guns could be used in extreme circumstances to disorient marauders and others with sinister motives. Fine. Like I can just imagine the conversation being around like, okay, but what's a marauder? Like, how
do you define that?
Are we going to expel this company for firing their flare guns at pirates?
Yeah.
Do they count as marauders? And it's like, okay, fine. Well,
sinister intent.
Yeah, sinister intent. But can
now,
we just...
now how do we prove sinister intent?
Exactly.
Well, if they're on the opposing side, they have sinister.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of way that Caradron works. He's like, well, they already have say, and also the fact that the Marauder is still in there, as if like sinister intent doesn't count. Yeah. Incredible. And then the last one is Article 25.6. Crew members must ensure the adequate defense of their superiors during perilous expeditions.
Interesting.
Yes, that one lets a company act as a bodyguard for a hero unit. That one I remember. Which is just generally your heroes are easier to kill, but offer like a multiplying effect to the rest of your army. So it is beneficial to be able to bodyguard them. The fact that you have to bring a specific code reference to be like protect the boss is very funny.
It does suggest that at some point in time that wasn't a rule.
Yes.
And someone who maybe was the boss got mad about that.
Yes. Caradron as a whole generally are more indebted to the successful completion of the mission than any particular Caradron.
Yeah.
And so I could definitely see it being, like an addition of like, okay, yes, do the job first, make sure the job succeeds. But it's actually important for the job that your command structure remains intact, actually. But yeah, I love, we only get the 3, but I love... like I said, the image of like a company coming in, like, why are you shooting your flare guns at the enemy? And they're like, nah, it's signed by the code, right? Yep.
It's fine. We were told this was okay.
And then they also got a spicy war scroll, which is the rules document for Endrin riggers. Endrin riggers are like balloon wearing like dwarves who, they fly alongside the ships to do repairs. And the normal ones can repair boats, and they have like decent guns. And the Aqshian ones also repair the boats, but if they get like interrupted in repairing the boat, either like the boat gets damaged or they get damaged, then it makes them mad enough that their attacks get better.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I have a job, and you interrupted my job.
The rule is called, hey, we're working here.
Hey, we're working here.
So I could just imagine like you've just finished like riveting like patch onto like the hull of the ship, and a new like munition goes through and busts it open, and you're just like, what the hell?
I'm working here.
I'm working here.
That's very good.
Yeah, that's just very good. I'm a big fan. We're going to talk about Fire Slayers. Fire Slayers didn't get a lot. They feel like they're kind of in a weird lore position right now. And a lot of their stuff that they did get is just very much on the level of like, they're on Aqshy, so they're mad. Which like,
I think everybody is.
Yeah.
So that's not very unique.
Yeah. And there's a lot of Fire Slayers on Aqshy already, and they're already mad. So yeah, it is kind of, but I did want to point out that one of the things they got was an alternative prayer lore. So when you build your army, if you have multiple spell lores or prayer lores, you pick which one your army is bringing for this battle. A good example is Tzeentch, right? Tzeentch can bring a spell lore that focuses more on manipulating where stuff is located and like buffing their units and stuff, or one on just blowing up the enemy, right? Like, and so normally Fire Slayer's prayer lore is the lore of Grimnir, right? Honoring their dead patriarch, empowering their runes, giving themselves like resistance to damage and stuff. That very durability focused like Fire Slayer thing. We will persist. And in Scourge of Aqshy, we get an alternative prayer lore honoring Volcatrix.
Oh.
Yeah, the god beast that died in that like conflict with Grimnir, like where they killed each other. And so I like it mostly because it creates the implication that there are Fire Slayers who do not see Volcatrix as like the enemy, as this great antagonist that like took their god away, but rather as her own source of like divine power to be respected.
Yeah.
Right. Even if they have beef with Volcatrix for like killing their god, they can recognize that divinity will do as it does. Right. Like
that is super interesting.
right.
Yeah.
Very cool. And yeah, it's mostly about buffing their mounts. They ride big fire lizards.
Lizards!
Which is fun. But that's kind of it for Fire Slayers. Sorry, Fire Slayers fans, but hopefully they'll get some new cool stuff. There's rumors on the horizon about Fire Slayers getting some cool new stuff. So
nice.
we'll see what happens. Seraphon. Let's talk our lizard friends.
Our dinosaurs from Beyond the Stars?
Yeah.
Yay!
Seraphon got a series of monstrous traits, which are cool. Similar idea where you just give this to a monster instead of like a hero or like a little unit. We're going to see that with a couple like Iron Jaws and Cruel Boys also got that, which tracks. But one of the only one that's like super noteworthy in my mind is chameleonic camouflage.
Okay.
Give your T-Rex the ability to turn invisible.
No, but yes.
Yeah, right. You can just picture the like Jurassic Park scene where it's like uncloaking in the background of the foliage. Yeah.
Visible,
yeah.
and humans are in front and you in the audience can see and you're first just like, wait, what is happening? And then
right.
Yeah, that's upsetting.
It's upsetting.
Really terrifying.
It's really good. It works it's most like cool in my mind when you're thinking of like Carnosaurs, which are your big T-Rexes, or Troglodons, which are your like Spinosaurus, like spitting acid, like big lizards, like predatory like lizards. But you can give it to any monster. So also like Stegodon. So just a big Triceratops that can turn invisible, which rips. Yeah. Or Bastylodons, which are Ankylosauruses. Like
that's so cool.
They're not very fast, but they're full of snakes.
They're full of snakes.
One of the weapons you could put on them is literally just a big can of snakes. I think it like magically conjures the snakes, but like
from where? Don't shrug at me, Dalton Montgomery. You tell me where the snakes come from right now.
It's probably the same tech as like other Seraphon, right? They're probably starboard snakes. They have the souls of snakes stored in their computer.
I was like, are they coming from? Are the snakes just living somewhere and now they have all been summoned? Are they being created in this moment? They're the souls of snakes from the old world.
I'm choosing that one. I think that's the funniest one.
It makes honestly, I honestly feel like it makes the most sense.
Yes.
How are you going to identify the snakes?
Absolutely. You can't ask them where they're from. They're snakes. Yeah.
They're also being used as a weapon.
Yep.
So you really don't have time to grab one and ask real quick. You're in combat.
The other thing Seraphon get are they have a actually specific version of the Slan, and I wanted to highlight it for the same reason I liked highlighting the thing about Lumineth, which is that a big part of Seraphon's thing, especially the Starborn, is like the calm, like rote. They're almost like robotic in their way of acting, right? They don't easily give over to. It's not even like rage when they do get more like brutal. It's animalistic, right? It's them regressing to a more like reptilian form. And so the spicy version of the Slan, which are big frog wizards, you pick a battle round. It's them reading the future in order to mess with like stuff. Pick a battle round. At the start of that battle round, set you and your opponent's fury levels to 7. Then at the start of the battle round after that one, set you and your opponent's fury levels to 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it sets you up to do, like, it's that mystical, like, fortune-telling stuff while also being, like, we're enforcing a very, like, mechanical, like, lizard-brained, like, roteness on this emotion, right? Which I think is fun.
Yeah.
But that's Seraphon. Idneth get one of my favorites.
Ooh.
Aether Sea Companions.
Oh!
Just the little guy squads.
I didn't... Obviously, the Idneth can go other places, but I definitely thought they had to, like, stay in the water.
That's part of the Aether Sea, right? Is that they bring wizards with them who recreate the conditions of the sea, right?
Okay.
And that's what lets their, like... Idoneth raid is like sharks flying through the air, like because they're just making the Aether Sea where they go.
That is spooky distressing.
So there's another one that goes on like a non-hero. The implication being that like this squad has their like war like beasts with them, but those war beasts are sea creatures.
Yes,
because Idoneth,
giant sea turtle.
Yes. The absolute funniest one in my mind, because this barely qualifies as an animal, iron shell barnacles.
What?
So this squad has just their pet barnacles, like growing on their armor and shields and stuff.
What advantages do the barnacles give them?
Barnacles are very tough.
They are, in fact, very tough?
They are armor.
Okay. Hey,
Yep.
what is a barnacle? Like, okay, I know what a barnacle is. Like, I could draw a barnacle, right? I understand it's a thing in the water. It's on ships. Is it like coral?
I think they're mollusks, technically. They're just filter feeders. Like, they anchor themselves so that they can get nutrients and stuff that's like floating past them, which is part of why they really like boats and stuff, because they're adapted to filter from like, oh, I'm in one spot and stuff goes past me. So if they're doing it on something that's moving, that's like extra good, is my understanding.
They're arthropods. So related to like crabs.
Yeah.
And lobsters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So like suspension feeders. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I should have just read there. The extra durability granted by these crustaceans is welcomed.
Excellent. Excellent.
And so, yeah, it's just you get a different benefit based on what kind of unit you are. So infantry are weighed down a little bit more by it, but it's like tougher. And so they reduce enemy damage. Cavalry reduce enemy armor piercing. And if you put it on a monster, then that monster can't be slowed down.
Okay.
I don't know why. That doesn't make as much sense to me. Because the main reason you get barnacles off a ship is because they slow it down.
Yeah, it's like the opposite.
But maybe they're detaching. Like if you try and throw a net over the monster, then the barnacles are just like lifting it off. Yeah.
Which is not how barnacles work. But
No. Another companion you can bring with you are Stonefoot anemone. Anemone.
Friends like these, who needs anemones?
Yeah. Which are extremely toxic.
Yes.
Very, very poisonous, which just lets the unit make an opponent not move.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're in combat with them, because you just poke them with your anemone, and then they can't move.
My family visited Hawaii for my grandfather's funeral, and we went snorkeling, and I was terrified of accidentally touching an anemone. So goddamn scared was I to perhaps... I didn't even see any anemones, but the idea that I might accidentally touch one, terrifying.
And then the last one is a Aqshy specific creature. So these are only found in like the oceans of Aqshy.
Okay.
Aqshian sea nettles.
Sea nettles.
Which, despite their name, are not a plant. They are jellyfish.
Jellyfish!
Floating around their owners, these jellyfish instinctively lash out at nearby foes, causing panic and confusion.
Yeah, I'd be really upset if I was on land and a jellyfish attacked me.
Yes.
Like, not I was at the beach and accidentally stepped on a jelly. If I'm on land and get attacked by a jelly, I think I'm kind of upset about that.
Basically, it goads the enemy into fighting that unit. So you put it on a big durable unit, and then you go like, oh, you have to hit me because the jellyfish made you mad.
Yeah. I'd be pretty mad about that,
Right? But yeah, that is Ideneth. They just have their little guys they bring with them, which is very funny.
A lot of little guys. Not like big, giant sharks and sea turtles. They are... What we did list are all little guys.
We have more like proper units in Ideneth that are like a big sea turtle that you ride around on and stuff. But yeah, for like an enhancement, just the idea that like also a pet barnacle is very funny. Like I just like that as an image. Like this is my pet barnacle.
That's you have like a bunch of them. Like one probably isn't going to do much.
No.
You have like a whole little barnacle colony.
Probably. That feels right.
I'm going to call it a murder of barnacles.
Yeah, I like that. A drift of barnacles.
A drift of barnacles. But they don't drift. They're all they're like, they don't want to drift.
Range of barnacles.
A range of barnacles. A station of barnacles.
Yeah. If you know what a group of barnacles is called, tell us in the comments.
I could look it up, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, this is more fun.
Yeah.
And then our last order faction is Sylvaneth, coming hot off of our Sylvaneth episode.
Let's go.
Which is appropriate because the one they get for them, I was very excited to see these, are glade aspects.
Oh, yeah.
So the implication is that this is a unit that is like planted and grown from a specific glade. And so they're getting like a more entrenched benefit of being from that glade.
Yeah.
Right. And so heartwood aspect, extra healing for those around them.
That tracks.
Yeah. They heal people around them at the end of turns and stuff. They're just like distributing like raw life magic into the Sylvaneth around them. Yes. Harvest Boon is our young, like, we got to go prove ourselves. We're the new kids on the block one. That makes the unit faster, easier to like navigate around the battlefield. Like they're rushing to the fight. They got to go prove themselves.
Yeah.
Or it can be aspect of Ironbark, which makes them much tougher.
Yes.
Just harder to kill. Always beneficial. So yeah, that was a nice synchronicity.
Wait, that's not all of them. Did only 3 get them?
Only 3, yeah, unfortunately.
Why?
Just because all the other factions got 3. So for a rules reason, we got 3 notable ones instead of all of them. Yeah. No, I would love more. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like so fresh that I was excited to like, okay, what about our Doomed Yuri ones? Like, what do they get? Tell me more. Nothing?
Tell me more about the Winterleaf. No, unfortunately.
Say lovey. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. Like you said, everyone's getting 3. It makes sense. Full rules balance, but like, there are more than 3 glades.
Yeah. We only got 3 codes of the Caradron code. Yeah. Articles of the Caradron code. Yeah.
I know, because
I would like more.
There would be like way more.
Yes.
So fun.
Yes. And that's already reflected in Caradron rules a little bit. We'll talk about it more in the Caradron episode. But yeah, like part of the code rights in-game rules is being able to pick out citations and the rules and stuff for why the squad can suddenly do a thing, like which is very fun. The fact that he can do that as like a reaction to like no, you can do the extra like gunpowder in your barrels for this one shot. I found the reference for it. Go.
It's fine.
Yeah,
that's very fun.
It's very good. But that's all of our order stuff.
Okay.
Those are like I said, that's not all of the Scourge of Aqshy rules for every faction. I just picked out the ones that I thought were narratively interesting.
Yeah.
There's definitely more that has like interesting stuff going on there. Definitely if you play any of these factions or if you're just interested, I think there's a lot to be found. All these documents are freely available on the Games Workshop like Warhammer website.
Hooray.
So you can go check them out yourself. I think there's a lot of fun and some of them have cool art that come with them. So
very good.
Yeah. So the other Grand Alliance we're going to talk about for the rest of this episode, much less factions, but I think these are all going to be very fun. We're going to talk about the Grand Alliance of Death.
Let's go.
And we are going to start with Soulblight Gravelords because they have one of my favorite things I think I've seen as like a rules implication for like lore, which is that they're like non-hero enhancement thing in the same vein as like, oh, there's a medal we all earned, or this is the like we brought our code reference or whatnot, is terrifying folk tales.
Oh
yes.
What?
This unit is
Tell me more.
This unit is either the inspiration for or is playing to the idea of some kind of like folktale that exists within the setting. And so each of them is just named after like the name of this like story you would tell around a campfire, right? So your unit might be the empty graveyard.
Ooh, no.
Folks tell of a cemetery where the day after a mass funeral, each newly filled burial plot was found empty, with footprints leading away from them into the wilds.
No.
Right?
No.
Right? And so, like I said, the narrative flexibility of like, ooh, is this literally like the skeletons who created that myth, like, or are they just like playing to that?
Because that story already exists.
Yeah.
Might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all want to hear something legitimately a little spooky?
Ooh, always.
Yesterday, my brother and I had to go run an errand to help our other brother, grab his car, bring it to his place, and then obviously come back. So it was a 2-car project. And we decided to bring the little dog with us because he wanted to come along on a trip. As we were driving home, Cash is sitting on my brother's lap. Little dog Cash looks out the window and then just starts barking out the window as we're sitting on the corner at the light waiting to go. And I look over to see what he's barking at. It's a cemetery. You made me think, oh, there's probably people out there in the cemetery. He's just barking. No. There was no one in the cemetery, and he hadn't barked the whole drive. He just sat and panted and rested. He'd been quiet the whole time, but now we're just sitting at the stoplight by a cemetery, and my dog's barking at it, and DJ's like, oh, he sees the ghost. And I'm like, don't fucking say shit like that.
What do you know, Doc?
He probably didn't like the like plastic flags that landscapers put in to mark certain things.
Fair.
He may have not liked that, but it was still kind of spooky.
Hell yeah. Another one we have is The Never Dead.
What?
It is said that there is a rampaging band of warriors who yearn for the sweet release of death, but as punishment for transgressions past, Elder Bones refuses to let them die.
Elder Bones!
Elder Bones is a epitaph of Nagash.
I was going to say that's the name for Nagash. Elder Bones is actually super fucking funny, and it's the only term I'm going to use to refer to Nagash from now on. Watch me forget it next episode, but if I remember, he's only ever going to be Elder Bones.
Elder Bones.
Because that sounds, we're picturing like a respected elder,
Yes.
very like stoic, and I'm picturing those spooky, scary skeleton guys from specifically the old animation that song is put over, right? The dancing skeleton. That is what I'm picturing Elder Bones, so be clear.
I think Elder Bones is supposed to be like the platonic neutral like aspect of Nagash. Like that's the one where people who aren't like super tuned in to like what Nagash is about are just like, oh, you know, the death god.
Elder Bones. Yeah.
He exists.
Now he's a dancing skeleton.
Yes. And the last one is the Incarnadine Killers.
Oh shit, what?
And this one's fun because it's said like a story. Beware the Incarnadine Killers, for they are cursed with an insatiable lust for slaughter. Do not think that distance shall keep you safe. Should you spy their bloodied forms upon the horizon one moment, their blades will be lodged in you the next.
I was right to pick ghost type specialist for the top of the episode.
Yes. I like that. Like I said, we have the like, this is very much just like a more classic, like be afraid of things in the night ghost story, right? I like how it's presented as like someone telling the story to us, the listener. It's not presented as like third person. And all of these work very well. Like the Empty Graveyard one lets that unit like move to a different place on the battlefield once per game. The Never Dead makes them more resilient, and Incarnadine Killers lets them move out of phase. So normally effects that let you move when it's not like the movement phase are very rare, and so this is if an enemy has died this battle round, this unit gets to just like move at the end of the turn instead of during movement. Yeah.
Nope, that's spooky as hell.
Chasing you down.
That's some weeping angel shit.
But yeah, I really like the Soulblight ones because of that, like these are ghost stories.
Yeah,
like these are the spooky
really
stories
fun.
we tell. Absolutely. Let's talk about Flesh Eater Courts.
Fuck, do we have to?
Yeah, just briefly. They have some cool artifacts. The Royal Treasury is what this grouping of artifacts is called, which I think is funny. They are horrifying, as Flesh Eater Court stuff always is.
As they tend to be.
Right. I'm going to start with the Ring of Nightmarish Visions.
Oh, I wonder what that does.
It's fascinating. It's so Flesh Eater Courts because it's fascinating because it doesn't like evoke nightmarish visions in your enemy or anything like that. It makes the person wearing its delusion worse.
How is that helpful?
The ring enhances the wearer's delusion, twisting foes into even more hideous monsters.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
Yes, so it's almost like a removal of inhibition, right? It's like, oh, I'm a noble questing knight, and look at these terrible beasts. Like, look at how monstrous and inhuman this just like person is, like in reality, right? And so,
makes sense.
Right, yeah, it just makes them like fling themselves even more like crazily at enemies, which is neat. There's another one that's like not super interesting. So we're going to talk about the Fool's Cap, a classic Fool's Cap, but it is made out of a giant's hand. Like the hand bones just like are the like jangly
like the gesture.
Yeah, where it's been like strung together, and so as they bounce the like hand bones like nightmarish. But it's another. It actually raises the opponent's fury level. Yeah. But then it incenses them to attack whoever's wearing the Fool's Cap.
You just have no choice. You have to attack that person.
Yes. Yeah. It's very rodeo clown. Yeah. Right? It's like, I'm going to make a big woo, so you got to come after me, which is very funny. There's also, I'm not going to talk about any of them specifically because they're not like super fascinating, but I also like, we have another like non-hero thing you can give to just like a squad, which is noble pursuits. These are things that they have like in their delusion, like sworn to their liege lord. So like defenders of chivalry, loyal squires, homage and fealty. So like the idea of all these like crazed ghouls, like swearing their oath to defend the crown or whatever is a good, and that giving them a benefit in battle is like a cool, it's a cool look. That's Flesh Eater Courts. Not a ton for our boys. Let's talk about Osiarch. They also have a couple of cool artifacts I want to talk about. The Banner of Old Ossia is a good one. So Asya was the afterlife that Catacross was from before like Nagash started taking stuff over.
Yeah.
So it is like a relic from Catacross's past. It is his personal battle standard from when he was like the leader of Asya, like pre-Nagash. Well, when he was fighting against Nagash. And so to bear the banner of old Asya is to like bear allegiance to Catacross, but also to bear allegiance to like a deeper, like it's not just Catacross as Nagash's like utmost servant. It is Catacross himself, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, and that's fascinating. It lets you heal Osiarch better.
Oh, cool.
Which,
helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. The other one is more... So I'm actually going to talk about all the artifacts because I think they're kind of fun. The Scarabean Cloak.
Ooh.
So as the name implies, it is a big cloak made out of a bunch of scarabs.
You know what? And I pictured that when you said that. And I thought, surely not.
But because death... we can't have a cloak made of living scarabs in Nagash's perfect empire. So it is the reanimated like exoskeletons of scarabs.
We just took an extra step we didn't need to, but okay, Nagash, go off. Okay, bone elder.
Yeah.
Elder bones.
But bugs don't have bone. So
Bugs don't have bones. They don't have bones.
Yeah, so it's exoskeletons. And that one's very funny because it just once per battle lets the person wearing it move to somewhere else on the battlefield as all the scarabs just like pick them up
and
like, carry them away.
Oh God.
And then this is an interesting twist on like the Osiarch thing. So the Soul Web gem is a empty, like the gems that Osiarch wear that contain their actual like soul.
Yeah.
It is an empty one of those that has been like necromantically connected to the hero who it's like bound to. And so the hero themselves is not carrying it. One of their subordinates is carrying it. And if the hero's body gets destroyed, it just transfers their soul from their existing gem into this one, which then like assimilates the person who is carrying it. So just shunts them out of their construct and lets the commander take like control of their body.
Damn, yeah.
Yes, it is a exit hatch and it's very Osiarch, and it's very like, we have to ensure the success of the thing that we're doing. Like we're all like, this is for the greater goods, quote unquote, to the greater like Ossian project. To just like your commander gets smashed and then someone in the back line just like, and they're your commander now, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna briefly mention that we have another like non-hero enhancement called Mortars and Refinements. I'm actually going to point this out as like kind of a missed opportunity. I feel like they could have done more interesting stuff with this, because the implication is that the Mortisans have like experimented with this unit, right? Like your Bone Shapers and stuff have like gone a little bit zany, trying new stuff, and one of those plays to that, but the other two are kind of generic. So the one I think is funny is Elongated Tibias.
Okay.
So you just have a bunch of weirdly taller, like, bone reapers.
Okay.
Considerably longer leg bones, allowing for greater bursts of speed on the charge. Like, it just gives them a bonus to charging. But that, again, that feels in the, like, weird transhumanist, like, why do we have to be, like, person-shaped when we can so freely mess with bone? The other two are just like, oh, we made this Osiarch out of particularly loyal people. And like, okay, that's not as fun. Like, that's an interesting, and it's a good like mechanical effect, but I don't care. And so the last thing we're going to talk about for Osiarch is they got a Aqshian war scroll for our boy Vorkmorshan.
Hey!
His normal one plays more to the like voice of Nagash kind of stuff. This one I really like because it does his like ancient contracts thing. It's like, oh yeah, he hasn't been back to Aqshy in a while, so he's got all these like contracts ready to go on all these different. So he can in the hero phase, you just tell your opponent like, hey, you have to, here's your like terms of your contract. Like, is your army going to pay the tithe? In which case you have to pick one of your own units to do some damage to. Or are you going to deny the Osiarch their due, and that gets a bunch of benefits for the Osiarch army.
Oh, shit. That's very good.
And then the start of every, like, one of your turns, you get to re-up and say, like, hey, tithes due again? Like, are you gonna pay it this turn, or are you gonna keep denying us, right? Like, and that's very Vokmartian. Like, that's that's what I picture him doing when he is like present at a battle, right? And I love that. That I just really like. Vokmartian is a big part of this.
That's really cool.
And then our last death faction is Night Haunt.
Night Haunt.
And Night Haunt have some fun stuff, mainly in a similar vein to the Soulblight one. We have our non-hero enhancement, our Crimes of the Condemned.
Oh, shit.
So this is units that have committed some specific sin in addition to like whatever got them turned into Night Haunt in particular. This is an additional thing that Nagash is like punishing them for. And that like informs how they are able to fight. My favorite, I think, is Vociferous Defamers. These wretches denied the great necromancer's arcane might, and as punishment they are beholden to Nagash's mages. So they empower other mages near them when they are like nearby at the cost of their own like integrity, right? Backstabbing betrayers, condemned to eternal solitude for their traitorous deeds. These specters take out their loneliness on the enemy. They attack better when they're further away from other Night Haunt.
Oh god.
Which is and cowards and deserters. Fearful and craven in life, these guys continue to flee from their enemies beyond the grave. Lets them leave combat after they fight. Very powerful effect, but again, I think it's very funny that Nagash is just like, no, you were too much of a coward. Continue to be a coward as a ghost, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Very useful to me.
And then, that's the main Night Haunt thing. We've got some like artifacts here, but they're not like,
They're not compelling.
Yeah.
They're probably useful if you are big into, if you're playing the Night Haunt. But not narratively interesting.
Exactly. The rules are cool, but just nothing that I'm like super feel the need to talk about. That is Order and Death for Scourge of Aqshy.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little bit of a weirder episode covering all, just going across all the factions. But like I said, there's a lot of really interesting ideas here. There's a lot of stuff that's just like fun gameplay wise without a lot of lore backing, and that's fine. Like, I'm not asking for them to write everything as narratively interesting to me.
We don't have to have a whole novel for everything. Yeah, it's fine.
But I like that they did put in some like really interesting, cool ideas on this. But yeah, that's Order and Death. We'll do Chaos and Destruction next episode.
Fantastic.
These ended up being longer than I was expecting it to, which I appreciate.
Oh, they always are.
Yeah. But until next time, I have been your dispassionate soul, Dalton Montgomery.
And I'm Darian Smart, and my ace would actually be Hisuian Zorark.
Ooh. Bye, y'all.
Take care.